talk about the Warriors Plus Minus podcast, which if you haven't checked it out already, I'll leave a link to it in the description, with Anthony Slater, Tim Kawakami, and Marcus Thompson. Go check it out. Fantastic listen for 50 plus minutes. Those guys are obviously around the Warrior organisation. Plenty of intel, plenty of information that is super valuable for fans. Just a couple of points that I wanted to talk about there. So there was the Klay Thompson contract extension discussion. Slater stated that it might happen, but obviously if it doesn't, he'll go into next offseason as a free agent. I do have a bit of an issue with one of Kawakami's points was the idea that the Warrior perspective does, the Klay Thompson injury history does hold a little bit of weight to the Warrior perspective, I should say. So I find that a bit awkward, to be honest, and I'd love to be a fly on the wall between, Mike Dunleavy Jr. and, Warrior front office and, ownership, Joe Lacob if he's there, and also Klay Thompson's camp and his management. In those discussions, if the Warrior front office brings up, the fact that we've paid $68 million for this guy to miss 2 complete seasons, obviously with the ACL in 1920, the Achilles in 2021, missed another half a season after that, returning in January of 2022. If they use that as a way to try and get Klay on a lesser deal here moving forward, I think that's going to be awkward. I think that's got the potential to be an awkward situation. For you to tell Klay Thompson, hey, you know what? We paid you 2.5 seasons, upwards of $70 million across that period to not play. So therefore, you should take less on your next deal. Now, I actually understand their point, if that is the case. And Kawakami basically said that this is in the Warriors' minds when they're dealing with a potential Klay Thompson extension. He said that. Again, very awkward if that is the case. And I understand it. I understand that, hey, I invested $189 million into you across a 5-year deal, and for half of that period, I saw no return. You were off the floor the entire time. So, from a business perspective, I get it. That makes sense. But Klay would rightfully, and this is what Slater pointed out, Klay would also rightfully turn around and say, hang on a second, what was the value of this franchise when I was drafted here in 2011? And what's its value now? Between myself, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green, we've brought 4 championships to this franchise. The valuation of the Warriors when Joe Lacob and Peter Guber bought the organization was, I think they bought it for $450 million. According to Forbes, as of October 2022, it's about $7 billion. There is no issue with money at the Golden State Warriors. Let's put it that way. Now, if you're talking about the second tax apron and the new penalties that the NBA is putting towards the Warriors and other luxury tax-paying teams, then yes, that is a clear point of emphasis here. And the Warriors will say to Klay, hey, we either want to get close to the second tax apron or ideally we want to get under it. And in order to get under it, you need to take a significant pay cut. He's getting $44 million this season. The Draymond Green contract has been the one that has been bandied about as, 4-year 100, Klay, there you go. That's about what you should get. Maybe the Wiggins is 4-year 109, somewhere between $100 and $110 million. Now, I do think that with Klay's shooting ability, look, he shot 41.2% from 3 last season. He's another year removed from his 2 major injuries. He should be better again, I think, this season. I think there's optimism around that. So I think if he did test the free agency market, maybe he gets more than that. But there also has to be, from a Warrior perspective, there has to be a little bit of a home team discount. Would Klay Thompson prefer 4 years 100 at the Golden State Warriors, or would he prefer to go to the Houston Rockets and play alongside Dylan Brooks or something for 4 years 130? If I'm the Warriors, I'm just saying, good luck. If you want to go do that and take an extra $30 million to do that, go for it. But I think there's a clear understanding here that there wants to be a long-term reunion between Klay and the Warriors from both sides. It's just about how much of a pay cut does he take. And I just think it could get awkward if the Warriors use Klay's injury history, the fact he missed 2.5 seasons, as leverage over him and over his camp in negotiations. I just think that's awkward. I think that's the last thing I'd kind of do. If you really couldn't get an extension done, then maybe things get really difficult and you bring that up. But ideally, you just say, look, we're trying to get under the second tax apron. This is the number that we want to give you in order to be able to do that. And obviously, it's going to depend on what happens this season. Who knows? Chris Paul might come out, win Sixth Man of the Year, and the Warriors might say, hey, we just won the championship or something. Let's pick up Chris Paul's contract, which is non-guaranteed $30 million for next season. Let's pick that up. And we'll just say, yep, we're going in over the second tax apron again and copping the penalties. Maybe that happens. Who knows? But I think they would have a number in mind for Klay Thompson, that is comfortable enough for them to hopefully get under the second tax apron.